In the process of, we kind of buried the lead. So yeah, vaccine. So what is a vaccine? So people understand why you take a vaccine, and why some people don't take a vaccine, and why some people can't take a vaccine, and why everybody that can take a vaccine should take a vaccine. Okay? And again, also, why we should be talking about this is so we can all understand this, and also so we can understand that there is some people who can't. So there should be a choice, but there needs to be a proper reason for the choice. Not just, no, I don't want it. So the reason you take a vaccine is they've cultured this and then either hobbled it or it's already hobbled, but it has the genetic information. And that's, a vaccine is shot into you, and you hope that your immune system is healthy enough to be able to at least kill off this hobbled virus. And that's why sometimes shit goes wrong. It's because some people aren't healthy enough to develop an immunity and they develop the disease, or sometimes it wasn't properly hobbled. Like I said, we need to be able to talk about this because we need to talk about necessary vaccinations versus dozens, if not more, of questionable quality. We need to talk about, okay? We need to talk about people who can't get it, because I got real backlash, and that was honestly before the whole anti-vaxxing thing. And the backlash I got might have been to do with does it cause autism? And this is going back 40 plus years. So you get a vaccine because your body can develop. It's like we have a little lab in our bodies. So you shoot yourself up or you get shot up with a hobbled version of the virus. Sick leave, a less powerful version of the virus. Just some information, some of the genetic material, so you can develop the antibodies, or at least store the information necessary to produce those antibodies in case you ever need to recognize or fight off that particular virus. That's how it works. That's how in immunity. There is some people who are immune to certain things naturally. Then there's some people who have gotten it, because that's the importance of breastfeeding, right? We've talked about that. And then we've talked about the importance of coming in contact with, microbes in the dirt. I got to say, I did that. Even though I didn't get any vaccines, I rolled around in a lot of dirt. Yeah. So that's why you get a vaccine. And the reason why you do that is not all of the population has the ability to produce these antibodies, be able to fight this stuff off naturally if they come in contact with it initially. Because that's where a lot of this comes in, right? It's not like there's very few viruses or diseases on this planet that if you take a healthy person, they get infected for one. They get infected, and they get infected. Remember, there's a difference between getting infected and getting sick. And so they can become a carrier and not get sick. But there's very few viruses on this planet that will get you sick, let alone everyone gets infected. But the thing is, coming in contact, becoming exposed to these diseases allows you to carry this. Now, again, they may be a little bit hobbled, but it goes back to the same reason why not everyone can take a vaccine. So the reason why everybody wants to be immunized, or at least have these antibodies in them, is, yes, one, you don't want to get it. You don't want to give it to someone, of course, but you can't help that. But you don't want to get it, but you want to give your immunity, pass it on to your people, your family, your kids. But also, you want to make sure that if you come in contact with any immunocompromised individuals, that you've been what do you call it? You've been at least exposed to the disease, so that hopefully you're not one of those few people that when they come in contact, you immediately become a carrier, because there's that whole separate, right? You can come in contact with a disease which allows you to develop antibodies, allows your body to recognize the disease, but you're certainly not carrying the disease. And that's what I said about not everyone's going to get sick from a disease, but at the same time, not everyone's going to become a carrier, meaning, I'll give myself as an example. I believe there's a vaccine for tuberculosis, right? I've never had it. And I've come in contact with not only people infected with, but I mean, really. So I may have gotten antibodies from my family. I may have developed it from coming in contact with small amounts of the virus. Who knows? But I've come in contact with it and I didn't get TB. In fact, my lungs arguably are fantastic considering what I've put them through. So that's the whole point, right? So the whole point is you get the vaccine to develop these antibodies so that we don't have to worry about having more people in the population who are susceptible to getting infected, right? Now, if you reduce the number of people getting vaccinated, that means there's more people who are susceptible. That's where the risk comes in. So it makes everything worse. So I'm really not at risk because in my life I've only come in contact, as far as I know, of course, but I've only come in contact with very few full-blown infected sick people. So that means I've had to put my own natural, innate immunity to test far fewer times than I may have if all these people who are making personal choices to not get vaccinated, right? So all it takes is another 10%. Think of the numbers. That's another 4 million Canadians walking around who are at risk of developing full-blown measles, rubella, mumps, tuberculosis. I don't know. But that's where the risk is. And that's why we aim for, and that's why they think, oh, they're making money. There's a line, there is something we need to talk about where we encourage people to get the vaccines so that enough people can have the antibodies so that the disease itself doesn't even float around. So we don't have to worry about it for people, because there is people who get sick and their immune systems drop. But that's enough said.